This really is the biggest news pretty much of the year, let's be honest.
Yeah. But first and foremost, let me go through the economy. One of the things that I find fascinating that is going to be very hard, one of his slogans was to end inflation and make America affordable again. Political leaders don't have, even the leader of the free world, have that action to do that. So he hasn't actually stated how and what he would do to bring about ending inflation. He's certainly talked about doing, expanding US energy, so the drill stuff, bringing US gas, US energy sources to market as fast as can to bring that price down. But if you actually have a look, since he started saying that, oil's down 21%. So the energy impact in inflation in the States has been a big reason why they are now back to 2%. So even if he was to ramp it up, you'd actually be seeing businesses probably making a loss in drilling that. So the economy is the interesting one. He said a lot, but not a huge amount of policy direction. That brings on to the next one, which is trade. And so this is a big one for us in that space. So what I want to show you with this chart here, this is the trade policy uncertainty index and where it currently sits. Just to point out, that's obviously significantly higher than when he was first elected, which you can see is the first of those three pikes.
Yes.
The second two are COVID cycles. That's how uncertain we are right now.
He's a disruptor.
And already we have seen him using trade as a weapon rather than actually anything else. So we are talking about 10 to 20% tariffs on almost all foreign goods, which will probably include Australian goods as well.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be very aware that I would be very worried in our agricultural products because we are much more competitive than the US.
Yes.
And we are net exports of agriculture. So we've just got back from getting the Chinese giving us tariffs, and it looks like our major, security partner is about to hit us between the eyes.
Yep.
China's very aware of that. We have been feeling that pressure. You can see that in the Australian dollar, for example.
Yes.
The fact that it's sitting at 65 cents, where realistically it probably would be about 68 to 70.
Yes.
Outside of that, again, that's an inflation problem for us. We're a net importer.
Yep.
Cost of business bringing into Australia is getting more expensive. We need more Aussie dollars to bring US dollars here. So that's the other part. Then you've seen it with regards to the threats. So the threat of 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada around their immigration policy. This is why trade is so uncertain and why it'll be so hard to deal with. Because then we get back to, let's talk about migration and the immigration policy he's brought. Why we are talking about that policy on this program is the impact on inflation. And let me work you through this very quickly. If you are deporting very cheap, very efficient, because that's what it is, labor that then has to be replenished with higher costing, less efficient labor, that is 101 inflationary tactics.
100%.
And so that, I think, is what's been lost on this whole discussion. The biggest issue I see economically is his immigration policy. And again, our agricultural products will become immediately more attractive to Americans because we are more efficient and they will be cheaper because of this policy.
Yeah. So migrant labor inside US forced out 15 million or 10 million.
However many he wants to
he wants to push out.
Let alone the cost of actually using the Defence Department to do it.
But then I'm whacking a tariff of between, say, 20 to 60% that I'm threatening. That is totally inflationary.
Yeah.
Like I'm still going to have to bring some of those goods into the country. Like even at a 40% rate, with those Chinese electric cars, they still need to find a market. Now they might be dumped down to Australia. We might have the cheapest car, sort of market in history.
Correct.
But everything about doing these types of things is inflationary.
Yeah. And that's what we saw from 2016 to 20. I mean,
correct. This
is the argument, is that everybody goes, oh, look at what he did with regards to the stock market growth and whatever else. There's been multiple of reports, including from like actual people that back him. So, you saw investment banks, I'm not going to name them in the States, that were backers of him, that actually said the average American went backwards because the cost of their products were more expensive than if the policy had not been changed.
Correct. So is he going to, the 4 years, he's expecting that innovation and industry will be able to repurpose themselves and get up and running?
But is that what he's doing? In innovation and industry, that's a great point, because what he's trying to do, his argument to the people and why he's been voted in, is that he will bring back US manufacturing. He will bring back the car industry.
Yeah. He'll bring back
There's a reason they've left.
That's right.
Because they're uncompetitive and they're not efficient.
Yeah, but so you bring, so your only hope is bring your cost of energy cost of production down, but wages have got to hold or go up.
Yep.
So you're going to have to then obviously repurpose your manufacturing, maybe robotics, maybe those types of things that come in. So less workers, but you're talking about tens of millions of workers that you've made a promise to
relocate back in,
and basically
then what's called reprospecting. So bringing that manufacturing back to the US, it means infrastructure build to bring up to spec those manufacturing hubs that were lost. So you look at a Detroit, you look at Pennsylvania,
correct.
You look at the Rust Belts.
Yep.
They can't just go back into those manufacturing centers and turn them on.
No.
Because the technology in them is 20, 30, 40, 50 years old.
Correct.
So this is why the immigration policy is the one that caught my attention the most from an economics point of view, not from a humanitarian point of view.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be the biggest problem with his current policy ideas, is that it is going to be
it's all inflationary.
Incredible.
So look, there's no doubt that what we are going to see is it's going to be unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be disorder. There's going to be the haves and the have-nots that come out of this. Now, he's promising that he's trying to make America great again for the middle-class America. That's his test. He's trying to get that middle-class America back because that has been dissolving over the last 20 or so years. So he's got a massive job ahead of him. He's got an interesting crew of people in the White House to do it for him. So
all I would say is put your seatbelts on. And as we said at the start of this, the next time we talk to you, he will be in power and some of those ideas will have been enacted.